Hi and welcome to the Dice Club. Today I'm going to show you how to play a game called Enigma. It's a game that plays between 2 to 4 players and takes between 30 to 45 minutes. Enigma is a puzzle-based spatial awareness or numeracy game where you're trying to complete different tasks, trying to get pieces that will attach to the board and score you points by placing your people on them. Each player in a game of Enigma is going to get 3 pawns of their colour plus 1 that's going to go on the score track. I'm just going to move the score track away for the moment. And they're going to get 3 points of their colour they're going to be able to place out on this board that's going to be built up in the middle throughout the game. And what you're going to do on your turn in Enigma, say white's the starting player, they've got the starting player marker here, they're going to pick one of the 4 types of puzzles available and put it in front of them. They're not going to look at what the puzzle is. The puzzle will have something on the other side of it, but they're going to take one of these 4 puzzles, put it in front of them, and the next person's going to pick. The names of each puzzle, they're called the angular puzzle, the fragment puzzle, the weight puzzle, and the conduit puzzle, but you just basically call them blocks, tangrams, numbers, and pipes. What you're going to do on your turn is you're going to take one of these. So say the white player takes the blocks puzzle, they would take the block pieces that go along with it, and so no one else could take that on this particular round. The black player might take the weight puzzle or the number puzzle, take these hexagonal prisms, and then the next person might take the tangrams one, leaving the last person, in this case red, with the pipes puzzle. You would take those puzzles, you would take all the pieces needed to do those puzzles and put them in front of you. You would take them with their respective pieces and place them in front of you, and then when the start player says 3, 2, 1 go, you will reveal your puzzle and try and complete it. The first person to complete their puzzle will take the timer and they will flip it over. That means the rest of the players have until the timer runs out to complete their own puzzle. That means if people don't have a particularly hard one, they will affect the speed in which you're going to do yours because they'll flip the timer first, and vice versa. If everyone's got a slightly tough one to start with that isn't blatantly obvious straight away, you're going to get a bit more time to think about it. Let me show you what each puzzle looks like. The block puzzle or the angular puzzle I find the hardest to do. This is where you've got to take the 4 coloured blocks you have, place them on this base here, which is basically a 2x4 base, but it could change, and you're going to place it in such a way so that the plan view, i.e. the view when you're looking down on top of it, looks like this. You should see 2 green squares, 2 yellow, 2 blue and 2 red. And I pre-did this one because I'm not very good at it. I pre-did this one, and I think you place them in such a way like this. So I can see now, I can see 2 green at the top, 2 blue. I know they're not level, all you need to see is the 2 blue squares on this particular area, the 2 yellow ones and the 2 red ones here. You'd place them like that and that would be complete. If you were the first to complete it, you would take the timer and turn it over and give everyone else that time to finish theirs. In the weight puzzle, it's basically a balancing act. So if you turn it over, and you can see here that you're going to need 4 hexes, so of the 6 you've got, you're going to use 4 hexagonal prisms, and you're going to be placing them effectively on this scale, and you're trying to make the total on this side balance or match the total on this side. This is quite an easy one, but what you do, if you put that there, that will be worth 4. And you could say, well, 4 and a 4 is 8, and that's an 8, so they're balanced. But you need to use all 4. You've been told to use exactly 4. So although this 4 here, because that's worth 8, these 2 4s are worth 8, and this one's worth 8, it balances at the moment, but you need to do it in such a way that you use all 4 hexagons. You could do it in a different way. You could say 10 and 3 is 13, and 5 and 8 is 13, and there you have balanced them. You can see here that you don't need one on every part of the scales. For example here the 4 is empty, but when you have more hexes there are more possibilities to go for. In the tangrams one, you take your classic tangram pieces. You've got 7 tangram pieces here that usually can be made to form a square, and you flip this over and you would try and fit your pieces onto the shaded areas of this particular map here. I hope this one's not too hard, otherwise I'm going to struggle, but basically you'd be putting them on a way in such that, oops, okay, I went wrong slightly early on there, but then I realised I had gone wrong and I changed it to some thicker pieces. And you're basically trying to cover in all the shaded bits using all tangram pieces, and when you've got one of these you'd use them all. And when you're done, again you take the time and you flip it over if someone hasn't done so already. The final one you've got is the pipes, and you're going to get 9 of these pipe pieces, but you won't use all of them on every one. You'd flip it over and it would tell you in the bottom corner which ones you wouldn't use. Here it says I'm not going to use the blank one, so I'd get rid of the blank one and put it to one side. I'm also not going to use the only crossed one here, and I'll get rid of that. What you've got to do legally, you've got to place the remaining 7 pieces to fill these 7 squares so that all of the pipes are connected and there's no end pipe bit within the middle. This would work something like this. That works. There might be other ones. Again, this is not one of my strengths. My strengths are number 1, but this is a particular configuration that does work. All the pipes, I know there's dead end bits here, but that's fine because that's a dead end bit, but there's no bit, for example, if that was the case, that would be illegal because that is going off the board and it's not matching one of the end pipe pieces. I think that might be the only way to do it, but someone might correct me in the comments video. But that will consist of completed pipes network, and again, if you were first to finish, you would flip the timer, or if someone else had done it, you've completed yours. Once you've finished that particular task, anyone who completed it within the time limit, i.e. the first person to do so because they flipped the timer, and then anyone else who managed to finish their task before the timer now, would get to add their puzzle piece to the board. And this is how you're going to score points. When you add it to the board, let's say the first player was white and they managed to complete their Tangram task, they will be able to add this to the board on any orientation around this particular starting square. So let's say white added it here, and what white will be able to do, they'll be able to add a meeple to one of these containment units, or little different coloured things. You've got oranges, you've got blues, and you've got greens. White might add that there, and white is now on this orange one, is connected to this one too. Let's say black also completed theirs. Black might add theirs here, and black might put that there. Black's now connected to a 5-piece connection. However, only the colour he puts his piece on will score him points. So black here has got 2 blue ones. The green and the orange don't count at the moment. Let's say that red also managed to do theirs. Red might decide to do this here, but red couldn't add a meeple to a section that's already controlled by white. So white currently has this particular loop here, so red could add theirs there. Let's say that green failed to complete theirs, so this will be the case. Green wouldn't be able to put a meeple down, and you'd start a new round. You'd pass a starting player on one, and you'd take a different task, well, not a different task necessarily, but you take another task from the selected displays there. You might get the same one you had last time in terms of the puzzle you had, but obviously the puzzle itself will be different. The reason is you might want to be picking ones where the colours match what you need to score your points, because to score points at the moment, no one's got anything. To score points, say it's white's next go, and white got this piece. White won a weight piece on a numbers puzzle, and white could place that anywhere on the board as usual, but let's say white places it here. White has now ended the network that he's on. White now has completed this orange one is a dead end, and it connects and connects and connects to here, another dead end. Now there's no spare bits of that network still to be completed. So white, because they were on orange, would score 1 point for every orange box that's in that network. White would get 1, 2, 3, and on the score track you would move white 3 forwards. Oops. You would move white 3 forwards, and white's got 3 points. So although you might be part of a very big network that will score you very lot of points, if it starts to fracture, if it starts to get lots and lots of open nodes, you might not be able to complete it before the game ends. So you might want the specific pieces that will end them, rather than big loops that will not. You do this until someone got to 15 points. The person who gets to 15 points signifies the end of the game, but if someone during that turn got more than 15 points and a higher score, they would win. The score track does go to 25, so you could extend the game longer if you want to. I often found that 15 points does feel a bit short, but until you've played it yourself and made your own judgment, that's a house rule we play by. And that's Enigma. It's a spatial awareness number sort of puzzle game that does play between all ages. It does say 8 or more, ages 8 and more on the box, but I have played with a 6-year-old who's done quite well. It is one for all the family. Some of the puzzles are easier than others, and you'll find that some people are going to be very quick at some. So for example, as a maths teacher, the number one's quite easy for me, and often if I get to pick the number one, I'm flipping the time over quite quickly. If you leave me the building blocks one, I will be a lot slower. If you do play with some people who are fast, you sometimes have to restrict them from picking the one that's going to speed the game up, because if they get that one, you might not finish yours in time, so you might have to pick it before they do. But other than that, Enigma is a fun spatial reasoning game. I definitely think it's worth a play if that's your inclination, and we do have a copy in the Dice Cup. If that's something that suits you, come down, have a play. We're open from 10 till late every day of the week. I've been Steve from the Dice Cup. Thank you very much.